And Joel, we have been talking all this week about the very important congressional races as we lead into this big historic midterm election in 2 weeks. And there is a race in particular that we are going to focus on next. The whole House majority could come down to the suburbs of Las Vegas, Nevada, in the race for the 3rd Congressional District. This would be a GOP pickup seat. And this race in Nevada's 3rd District, it has been the most expensive in the country. The money is pouring into this race from the Democrats because both sides, Republicans and Democrats, are hoping to bet the house on this race in Las Vegas, in the suburbs of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I am delighted to welcome the man who is running the MAGA candidate in that race, Danny Tarkanian. Danny, welcome to the program this evening.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm very excited to be here on your show.
Danny, as I mentioned, this race is crucial. It's a pickup seat, and we could be betting the whole House majority on your race there. And I know that you are neck and neck, and you are fighting, tooth and nail, and making headway. Tell us a little bit about your race and what's going on in Nevada.
Well, we do have the best chance of any race in the country to take a seat currently held by the Democrats. First of all, this district has been in Republican hands 7 out of the 9 elections it's been in existence. And the only 2 times the Democrats won was in very, very close races on presidential years. They've never won this race in a non-presidential year when more Republicans turn out to vote. Second of all, Trump won this district by 1% in the last election, even though he lost the state of Nevada. And he has a +4 positive rating right now in the district. We did some internal polling, and there's been some other polling we've heard about. There's been either we're tied up 1 or up 2 in the 3 polls that I've seen. So it's a very, very close race. And the reason why it's so close is what you said at the beginning. The Democrats have poured millions of dollars into this race. They've outspent us $7.5 million. They've already bought on the TV. They've spent close to $1 million in the mail. And I have no idea how much is on social media, but it's all over the place.
And now it's like your candidate is basically Nancy Pelosi. I mean, this is one of those races where we really can nationalize it in the sense that it's basically Nancy Pelosi versus Donald Trump and the MAGA agenda with you and your opponent, Susie Lee, right?
Yeah, it's a good point. My opponent has 17 homes, her own private plane. They're worth $60 million plus. And all she talks about is how she wants to raise people's taxes, universal health care. She wants to have abortion up to the date of birth. She's got the same radical ideas and positions as Nancy Pelosi, and she's so rich and out of touch like Nancy Pelosi that it's showing with the voters. I can tell, we're going places that her positions aren't resonating.
So let me ask you about the issue of the border and border security. So many of the Democrats, they're saying such radical things on that. They're talking about abolishing ICE and all of this. Where does she stand on these issues, and in terms of you, in your position?
She won't take a position. We had one debate that they didn't even touch upon this, and then she's refused to debate anymore, even though she called me out to debate multiple times, and we accepted, and then she just doesn't show up to them, and she's even canceled several town halls. She's running a race basically just to hide and not take a position so that she can get hurt by that position. She was at a big rally where signs were up saying ICE is terrorists, demolish ICE. They had signs like that, and she was one of the keynote speakers there. But it's a non-issue race for her.
So yeah, it's astonishing. Like we were seeing, the Democrats throughout the country are just sort of avoiding taking positions, or just sort of, what are they running on? What do you think that she is even running on?
Well, that's across the country. Many people are running against Trump, but she can't do that in our district because President Trump, as I mentioned, has a positive rating here, and he won the district. What they're doing is they're spending $6-7 million running defamatory ads against me, and you don't have to take my word that the defamatory court has already ruled that they were defamatory, and she's running the same ads. In fact, I just filed a lawsuit, and I added the DCCC, the super PAC who's running the ads on against me, and I added them to the lawsuit just today. I don't know if there's ever been a candidate that's sued the opposing side super PAC, but mine's a clear-cut case because they ran the same ads that a court had previously ruled defamatory in another election I had.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they're throwing so much mud and money at this race, just trying anything to stop
That's
it.
exact. That's
And
exactly right. They're saying the things so many times over and over and over again. They hope people will believe it, even though it's so outlandish.
and I've also noticed, I mean, Nevada, the values in Nevada, in particular in your district, um, you know, she's very much for Pelosi's gun control. She's also like basically using loosey goosey terms when she talks on her website about immigration. But it makes clear that she says ICE needs to be monitored or looked at or have to have accountability. I mean, that's essentially she's like embracing that same agenda, though. I mean, they're looking at abolishing ICE or hamstringing our protections here. Tell us about what you stand for in contrast to that.
Well, I mean, the complete opposite. I believe very strongly in American First policies that President Trump had articulated. We need to secure our borders, build a wall where it's necessary, make sure we know who's coming in and out of our country and what products are coming in and out of our country. I believe very strongly in what President Trump has done on the economic front. Eliminating the burdensome and unreasonable regulations, making the tax system fairer for all, not only for the businesses but also for the individuals. I also believe in a lot of things he's doing on the tariff side. Like we don't want to see more tariffs imposed and get in a war. But we are paying much more in tariffs than the other countries that we trade with, and it's unfair. We put American businesses and American workers at a huge disadvantage. So I'm hoping that President Trump's strong negotiation skills will help either eliminate the tariffs or put them on a level playing field. I don't believe we should be going overseas and fighting wars unless there's an imminent threat of our national security, that of our close allies. We shouldn't be going overseas and nation building. We spent $3 trillion in the Middle East right now, when that money could have been used to fund whether taking care of our veterans first and foremost that have been over there fighting, but then also helping take care of the people that need help here in the United States instead of wasting it overseas.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, we've been saying this all along. You are a total MAGA candidate, and you're hitting all those MAGA issues here. I mean, it really, it's great to hear that. And you're also
I was a MAGA candidate when virtually nobody else was here in Nevada. I was the only federal candidate that supported candidate Trump until the end of the last election. All of our other top elected officials, our governors, senators, Senate candidates, congressmen, they all came out and demanded Trump stepped out as a nominee when that tape came out. I'm the only person who supported candidate Trump at the time because I believe very strongly in those MAGA principles, and we're seeing how they're working now.
Now, tell me about your district. And this is like the suburbs of Las Vegas. What is the key thing in your district? What are the issues that your folks are talking about there?
For my listeners in my area that are voted here, it's basically the suburbs of the Clark County area. We have very little of the city of Las Vegas. We have the suburbs around the city of Las Vegas, which is basically it's called Henderson. There's a southwest part in the Clark County. We have a small town in Boulder City, which is another town outside of Las Vegas. It's basically these are middle class, hardworking Americans who care first and foremost about being able to take care of their families, have jobs, higher paying jobs. They love America. They love our military. They respect law enforcement, and that's what President Trump is doing so well in the district.
So, I mean, and you also are hitting the issues of how we treat our veterans and all of that. I mean, because as you mentioned, these are it's a really important place for that. And
yes.
How is your opponent even stacking up on this? I mean, Trump has really made massive efforts to clean up the Veterans Administration. What does your opponent say about that?
Again, she doesn't go out and take a position on anything. So I have no, unless she posted something on her website. I don't go to her website. She's not at any of the places that we have town halls or debates where she'd have to take a position. She goes to some Democrat stronghold places where she doesn't have to answer tough questions. But I talk about it because I believe it's important for the people of Nevada. Look, we have over 300,000 veterans here in southern Nevada. Many of them are having a very, very difficult time getting the treatment that they deserve from the VA, and they want to see these changes that President Trump is trying to implement done. And who doesn't think that we owe it to the veterans and need to take care of the veterans more than anybody else out there? They're the reason why we have the freedoms and the liberties to be in this country.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta say, now tell me about also with your race. Your opponent wouldn't even debate you, you'd mentioned. I mean, she's not even showing up for the debates. What's going on with that?
Yeah, she called out to have a couple of debates. I said, great, let's have three of them. And also, then she called me out and said, will you sign a town hall pledge and do town hall? So I said, yeah, let's do three of those. Well, we had one debate. She was so bad in the debate, and it was hosted by a very liberal moderator, one of the most liberal guys in the state. And I didn't have a problem because I say the same thing all the time. I don't have to worry about who's asking the question. So I had the debate. She was so bad on the debate that she won't go on anymore. She backed out of two of them. In fact, we had one with the largest senior publication just had a debate, and she backed out on it and won't show up. She won't go to a town hall. So we went to her office and tried to get her to debate. We brought a big podium and on a truck and asked her to come out, and we tried to embarrass her to do that, but she hid probably under her desk for all we know, and she just won't do it. Their position is beat me up on the paid media with the billions and millions are coming in, and hopefully there'll be enough people that believe those lies that she can somehow sneak through. She can't win on the issues. You can't win on the issues of what President Trump is doing and with his America First policies. It's a losing position.
I know the economy is so amazing right now, and so no, the Democrats don't want to talk about that. Tell me about the economy, how you see this. I mean, the economy just seems to be
Look,
booming, right?
look, we have the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years, the lowest unemployment rate for women in 56 years, the lowest unemployment rate for blacks, Hispanics, and Asians in recorded time. We have the highest wage growth in the last 12 years. The growth of our economy was 4.2% this past quarter. Under President Obama's 8 years, it averaged 1.6%. We have the highest consumer confidence level at this point. You can go on and on. The manufacturing index is at the highest level in decades. Every major index to show the strength of the economy is taken off because they believe that the policies that have been implemented, again, reasonable regulations, get rid of these burdensome regulations, having a fair tax system, taking care of the American workers and businesses, and fight so that they're on a level playing field internationally. That's a winning message, and President Trump's had the courage to implement it, and I'm going to run and support it.
You know what, Danny, it's a pleasure talking with you this evening. I want to thank you so much for coming on. And I want to encourage our listeners to go and get involved with your great race. It's Danny Tarkanian, Danny Tarkanian, TARKANIAN.com. That's your website. And everyone, folks, in Nevada, please go volunteer for Danny's campaign. Help get out the vote. Folks around the country, you can donate. Again, the Democrats are pouring so much money into this race because they're betting the house on it. We're all betting the house on it. Danny, keep fighting the fight, and we're going to be watching your race and keeping our fingers crossed for you in November. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate being on the show.